Here is Kevin Durant. He is the Suns' new forward on why it didn't work
Point
out.
forward.
Well, scores a lot of points forward.
Positionless, Max.
Why did it didn't work out in
Positionless.
Brooklyn?
We just didn't get on the court enough. I think when you seen James, Kyrie, and myself, it was amazing basketball for 17 games, though. But you need, in order for you to win a championship and be a great team, you just need more time on the floor. It's another story about why we didn't get on the floor together, but we just didn't get enough time on the floor. And those are Hall of Fame players that I learned a lot from every day, and I'm wishing them the best as well. It just didn't work out.
You know what I need? As time moves on, I can't wait to find out some of the details about what happened during this stay.
Why? Because he says it's another story.
Yeah, because to me, I automatically go right there. I'm like, well, what's the other story then? Like,
Well,
you've heard
what's the
tidbits of
other
it. Well, you heard tidbits of it with James Harden. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, y'all ain't looking at me now, all y'all. Like, he feels some type of way about it. You hear KD say this. You haven't really heard Kyrie say anything about it. Like, you know, Sean Marks and Joe Tsai, these guys. But eventually, stuff is going to come out where we get a chance to really see what the hell happened.
Well, I think
book
what
will
he's
be written about.
what he's saying though, Jay, about the other story is just everything that went on.
Yeah,
He didn't want to
of
go
course.
into
That's
it
what I'm
right
saying,
there.
yes.
Everything that went on from Kyrie's situation in and out of the lineup. He talked about some of that, obviously, in terms of Kyrie, but then he didn't really mention exactly what the other story is, the James Harden situation. He didn't mention what that is. But you smart enough, you've been around the building, you know what's going on in the building. We are in sports, so we kind of are dialed in differently than most people. You just put the dots together. You're going to come right to the conclusion right in the end.
Okay, KD, you're Kevin Durant. Ain't nothing happening without your blessing on it. But it's almost like I don't want to talk about it because when it's all said and done, I feel like Kyrie could have handled things differently. And it hurts me about it because they thick as thieves, man. Like, those two are tight. They're like blood. I don't know where their relationship is now. We'll see where that goes in the future. But I think Kyrie, regardless of what his situation was, I think the way it was handled between him and Kev, it seemed like they were always on the same page until they weren't. I think that hurt Kev with the way it went down.
See, I listening to the second clip, I took away that Kevin initially dealt with the organization and the situation, but then at some point they gave him enough pushback where he was just like, I'm just going to do what I'm doing.
Yep.
Y'all figure it out with him.
I'm off it.
That's kind of
Exactly.
the way that I heard it come out his mouth, where it was like, I don't really know. Initially, of course, you're going to know. You're Kevin Durant. You know, you're going to know what's going on and what the talks are, but then at the end, when you give your input and based on the way that they deal with you, you're like, my hands is up. Y'all figure it out with him. And it didn't work out, as he said, and he had to figure out how to keep his own house from burning down, which is what he did is by going to Phoenix, by going to Brooklyn and saying, it might be time to let's figure out how to move me without getting loud about it.
But the thing is, Key, like with anything, like, you know, with your boys on a team, you're only going to go to a certain extent getting involved in their business. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, Key, like, you're a grown-ass man. I'm like, yo, are you doing this or not? Yeah, you know what? With all this y'all got it.
Absolutely.
Y'all got it. I got me here. When y'all want to figure it out, y'all let me know what time it is, and then I'll deal with it, and I'll make a decision after.
Because you got to worry about your own house from burning down. You can't put out every single fire. While your house burns down, you over there using the water on somebody else's house.
It may be
come on, man.
It may be nitpicky because I like the way he answered the first question a lot. That right there, like, I understand if no crime is committed, you're allowed to lie about your personal life. That's nobody's business. Hey, what's your relationship with this person like off the court? None of your business, right? Or if you don't want to say none of your business, you could tell them one thing and it's really another. It's just not, you're allowed to. It's your life. But he clearly isn't telling the truth there when he says he didn't know what's going on. I would have preferred for him.
No, Max, that's not true, though, Max.
Right, but I would have preferred
Max,
him
that's
say,
not true, though.
Hey, but instead of saying I didn't know what was going on with Kyrie, just be like, look, that was the way it is. I'm not going to revisit that here right now.
But that's the same thing, Max.
Just like what Key and I were talking about, I am going to tell you, towards the end, he was off of it, man.
Yes.
He was like, yo, y'all got it. Like, I'm so tired of
in other words, it's based in a truth.
I can't deal with the drama anymore. And like, he might stoke drama on Twitter, on social media, like clapping back at people, but like, he ain't a dramatic dude. Like, he'll be sitting there watching tape of MJ hooping in his crib, like watching old school. He's a hooper like that.
Think about it, Max. You got daughters. Mm-hmm. How many times you gonna tell her don't touch the stove? Mm-hmm. Okay, you done told her 30 times, don't walk over to the front of the stove and touch it because the oven is hot. And she goes over there, now all of a sudden, boom, hot. That's what Kevin Durant is saying. I've already told the team what to do with Kyrie. They're not listening, so y'all handle it.
Jay,
I'm out.
You once said something about KD that had me think of him differently.
Back in the first take days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said,
no, because I remember that.
Because what Jay said was, like he's getting engaged and he's going at anonymous fans on social media and stuff. And
you were like, why does he
He's clapping back. I'm like, why is he so thin-skinned? And to me, it's like an ego issue, right? And Jay, what you told me then, which always stayed with me about him, is he actually treats everyone the same. Whether you are just some guy or another player or someone on TV or whoever you are, he treats everyone the same. So when he claps back at someone, it's like, oh, who's he? Kevin Durant is a king, and this is just a commoner. Why is he even worried about him? Because he actually respects people. And even if that respect comes off in a way where he's cursing you out, but he takes the time. He's like, yes, that guy's opinion is just as valid as that guy's opinion, which is to say, to me, maybe not valid at all, but I'm going to express it to everyone the same way because I'm going to treat people all the same. I like that.
And I'm going to say, like, the interesting thing about where he is right now, Key, between him and CP3 is the dynamic of the relationship, right? First off, this might be the best all-midi team of all time.
The all who?
All midi. So in hoop, we say that's a midi, like the midi game. Like, look, like the move right there on E2 right now.
Yeah, mid-range game.
Between Devin Booker, between CP3, between KD, it's the best all mid-range team of all time.
Yeah, you said
like, they can get to their spots whenever they want. Ain't nobody stopping it. The personality clashing between, like, Devin Booker is always going to be a little bit passive. He's a killer, but a silent one, right? The personality traits between KD and CP3 are inevitably going to butt heads. How CP3 manages the relationship between Devin Booker, himself, and Kevin Durant when it comes down to when you need a bucket, who do you dispel the ball to? It's going to be one of the most fascinating things to watch when we get to the last 25 games of the season after All-Star break. We're not at the halfway point, y'all. We're at the last 25% of the season. 25 games left.
I bet you it's going to be KD.
Well, it should be.
Well,
I bet you
it'll
be KD. And Booker will understand because he's still a puppy.
Well, Booker ain't a puppy, though.
No, but it's not just that he's a puppy.
When I say a puppy,
though,
it's not just that he's a puppy.
He is, though, Jay.
But I
he's
hear you.
A good puppy.
I hear you, but him and
those are full-grown dogs, though.
It's not just that he's a puppy. You know what KD does to guys like Kyrie or Booker or these like kind of Kobe disciples who are as good as scoring as just about anyone ever? What they see with KD is they just give it up. They're like, he's taller than me, so he's better, right? Like, actually, a guy like, in other words, a guy like Booker or a guy like Kyrie on almost any team ever is like, come on, man, I give us the best chance in that moment. But they look at KD and they're like, yeah, he's like me, but he's 7 feet tall. Actually, he gives us the best chance, and so it's okay with them.
You got to be a fool to think that you better than him. You just got your mind. There's something wrong with your mind if you think, when they walk in the room.
But they also run so much continuity that this to me reminds me more of the style in which they played in Golden State. Mm-hmm. That's why I think Kevin's gonna like that more.
All right,
him.
Yeah, you had James Harden, you had Kyrie Irving on the same team. You could blame it on Joe's side, you could blame it on Sean Marks, but at the end of the day, dude's got to be on the court ready to play.
You know, I'm not going to criticize a guy
I'm with Javi on that.
For wanting his work experience to be good. Right? Like, I'm not going to criticize a guy. Look, I don't like it here. It feels toxic. I'm out. I get that. But the great thing I will say this. When you're
the guy, though, Max, and it's toxic, but you're the guy.
Right. Then
that's different,
That's one of the criticisms he gets versus LeBron,
But he's not. His personality is not the type of guy that could mitigate that situation and solve it. Yes. That's just not. That's not who he is.
I just want to say one thing before you go, Max. It's like you could be the guy on the court. It doesn't mean that you're him off the court as a telling everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not making excuses. You're just seeing
your basic personality is different than your skill set on the court.
He's him on the court. Off the court, you're like, that's different.
Yeah, see, because I know my person. I know who the hell I am. I know my skin. I know who I am. So if there's issues, arise, I'm the type of dude, I might have an issue with you, but I know how, when we leave that field, I know how to put my arms around you and say, come on, man, let's go grab a bite to eat because we need to sit down and have this conversation about what the hell is going on here. And Kevin's not, it doesn't seem that he's like that. He just, when it starts to get confrontational, he says, you know what, y'all handle it, I'm going to do it this way, and we'll figure it out later on. And remember what I said, Jay, is that it's better for him to do it in silence if he wants to leave again, because even Javier said he packing up his bags and leaving, and Kevin Durant never screamed bloody murder at all.
He did just a couple months ago.
Let me go.
I mean, yeah, but I'm talking about here recently since Kyrie got traded.
Let me go back because I want to make this point. I understand why someone would leave a work situation that they felt was toxic, even if they're seen as the leader, whether or not they actually are behind the scenes. His skills, his size, the whole thing, his effectiveness gives him a lot of power. So I get wanting to leave and leaving. I relate to it. Like, why stick around in that situation? On the other hand, in life, when you quit on something, because there's more than one way of looking at something. When you quit on something, it gets easier to quit. You know what? I've been on a roll in the gym, right? Like, I've been going every day. It's okay. I could take today off. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. You know what happens? Sun still comes up tomorrow. World's still spinning around. World doesn't end. Oh, wait a minute. What does that teach you? It's okay. I don't have to go to the gym every day. I don't have to see it through. You once you start, you know what? I'm done with this. OKC, I'm good. I want to go somewhere I like. You know what? Here, maybe it's getting, or people are saying, whatever it is, I'm going to go somewhere else. Not working here, I'm going to go somewhere else. People naturally see that. They don't respect it to the same degree that they respect Damian Lillard, who stays there and fights through it. Now, the wisdom of that, Key, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. If Lillard doesn't wind up with a championship, you might look and go, man, that was not smart. You should have gone somewhere else. But people respect it differently.
How you lead matters, Key. How you lead matters.
No, it does. And that's why, remember when I always said that I feel sorry for him if he keeps bouncing around. Yeah. But I also understand that the situation in Brooklyn is so dire. Why would you want to stay? Like, what do you want to stay for? You've had your own request to do certain things for them to make it right. If they just would have made it right for Kyrie and took care of it, I know everybody, Kyrie's too wishy-washy. Why would they do that? Because you got Kevin Durant. That's why you would do it.
Here's how complicated it is. Ready, real quick? And I'll give you guys quick notes.
Very ready.
It's going to sum it up. So externally, we say Kevin Durant's the best player. It's his team. Whereas internally, it was Kyrie Irving's team.
Right.
But is that okay?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's okay or not. I'm just telling you what it was. Kyrie Irving was the one that wanted to be in Brooklyn. Was the one that was like, KD, let's figure this out. They got James Harden, but at the end of the day, when they didn't treat Kyrie right, like Kyrie was like, this is my team. My team.
You know, I have a theory about that nowadays based on that, Jay. I think your best player doesn't have to be the alpha in the locker room, but it can't be your second best player. It got to be your third best player, right?
CP3.
It could be CP3, but when it's the second best player that's got the alpha personality, he's too close to the first best player, and now whose team it is, and there's a dynamic problem.
Steph Curry didn't have the alpha, right? He was like, all right, whatever, we win. Draymond Green.
But it's a simple solution. It's not that difficult. If Kyrie is problematic in all of those things, and KD, who's a superstar, is trying to tell you how to handle the situation, you can handle it that way, and you won't have those problems. But clearly, the Brooklyn Nets didn't feel that way.
There's culpability on the team as well as on the players.
How many dudes have we seen in professional sports that wasn't all put together per the organization, but they figured it out?
But Kevin Durant is now held also to an almost LeBron James standard because he's that great.
You think?
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think he's near LeBron? He's approaching LeBron.
I think when LeBron,
you talking about the standard
when LeBron comes into an organization, the organization naturally feels like LeBron is going to take control.
Yes, that's true.
And I think when KD comes into an organization, I think KD has control to a degree, but when he decides to assert it, like there's questions around.
That's not what I mean. You're right. LeBron has better apparent GMing skills than or leadership skills in that way. than KD. What I mean is, whatever organization KD goes to,
they expect to win.
Yeah,
they're now the favorites to win the championship.
Absolutely.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. You should be because
he's that good.
He's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he said in his press conference yesterday, is to introductory press conference, the Phoenix Suns, is that he's one of the greatest basketball players ever. Mm-hmm. So when I get one of the greatest ever, I walk in, I expect to win. It could be the worst team in the NBA, Jay. I expect to win.
Max, before you go to call, I just got done doing Get Up, and I was with Legs, and we were talking about, I said that the game of basketball has never seen a trio like James Harden, KD, and Kyrie on the same team. Ever.
And still
So we go through like the best trios, and it's like since the Big Three era, all these guys. Ever. And Legs was like, they're like, this is the best collection of talent the game of basketball has ever seen. Mm-hmm. Ever. Like, he's like, even more so than Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. The fact, like, James Harden.
Oh, offensively, it's not even close.
Offensively, it's not even close.
Because the third best of those big three is offensively better than the second best of the Jordan Pippen. Pippen was the second best offensive player on the team, and he's offensively not as good as Harden or KD, and probably not as good as Kyrie either, although you got to factor in his passing.
But then you can flip that to the other side, too, though, right? Those dudes will never – these dudes will never be defensively what those guys were.
That's why we say offensively.
By the way, that's why I said offensively, because when people talk big three, when you factor everything to me, it's Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman by a mile, because there's the three greatest defensive players ever at the positions. The three greatest defensive players ever at the positions.
So now that so KG was defensively good.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Pierce.
Clay. But that's why I didn't even
KD.
You didn't go to Paul.
KD. Huh? You meant
KD. I said KG.
Oh, so
I was talking about of the big three. KG was defensively good. The rest of them, no. Right. Clay, good. Dre, good defensively. I'm just thinking in the big threes in my head.
But Key, what I'm saying is you could make a defensive big three. Forget about overall play. And Rodman and Jordan and
of course, if you did that.
I just want people to understand that our big three that we've been talking about has been
last 15 years.
2008.
Last 15 years.
We haven't talked about every big three.
Say it again, clean and slow.
Post 2008, the best big threes in the NBA.
Still can't.
So don't call our show.
Then
don't call our show talking about Magic and Worthy and Kareem. Don't call the show talking about Magic, Worthy, and Kareem.
Well, apparently, Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Dennis Johnson, whoever you want to pick from the rest of those guys.
Rest in peace.
Robert Parrish,
Mike and the Mad Dog. Don't do it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.